All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to No Final Bell episode 14. Hard to believe we've gotten this far already. As you can tell, gotten still a little lazy with not shaving yet. It is December. Marty's already shaved.
It was getting too much.
Eventually I will.
So usually to start out the show, we talk about Impact Wrestling. However, this past week it was Wrestle House 2 and it was Thanksgiving, so there really wasn't much that happened on Impact. However, this Saturday is NWA Hard Times 2, the pay per view, which I will be ordering on Fight TV, and I'm going to go over the card. And even then, I don't really get a chance to talk NWA a lot because, well, I haven't really watched NWA Power since last year, and they're now on Fight TV. I have Fight TV now, but I don't have NWA Power. Maybe I'll get it, but that's a different story. Either way, the card for NWA Hard Times 2 will start off with the pre-show match, which is a NWA Junior Heavyweight Title Tournament Gauntlet Qualifier, which consists of Arya Davari, Homicide, Kerry Morton, C.W. Anderson, Luke and P.J. Hawks, Jeremiah Plunkett, Sal Renaro, Darius Lockhart, Jamie Stanley, Victor Benjamin, and Alex Taylor. And sticking with the topic of the Junior Heavyweight Championship, we have another tournament qualifier consisting of Austin Aries and Rhett Titus. Now, for all you longtime wrestling fans, you may not remember, but Rhett Titus and Austin Aries were actually part of a faction from the glory days of Ring of Honor, and they were in a faction with Kenny King known as the All Night Express. So this is coming full circle. Not to mention, we also have a total of 8 championship matches on the card, 2 of which are cross-promotional. The first cross-promotional championship match is for the Impact Wrestling Knockouts Championship. It will be Mickie James versus AEW's Kiera Hogan, which this match is a bit of an interesting one, considering that the working relationship between Impact and AEW is no more. So it would be certainly interesting to see what would potentially happen if Kiera Hogan were to win the Knockouts Championship, but I don't think that's going to happen. The next cross-promotional championship match on the card for NWA Hard Times 2 is for the Ring of Honor Tag Team titles. Mike Bennett and Matt Taven, the OGK, are going to go up against Aaron Stevens and JR Kratos. Now we get on to some other matches before we'll announce the title matches. First up is the United States return of UK wrestling legend Doug Williams. He will be going one-on-one against Colby Carino. Now, for those of you that don't know, Colby Carino is the son of Steve Carino. Then we have what I will assume is going to be the main event of the night between Nick Aldis and Tom Latimer, where no one is allowed at ringside and either man will be suspended for 2 months if they are disqualified. So, now we get into the NWA Championship matches. First up, we have the World's Heavyweight title match between Mike Knox and Trevor Murdoch, which I never thought I would hear myself say that in 2021, that Mike Knox and Trevor Murdoch would be competing for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, but here we are. Next up, we have the NWA World Women's title between Melina and Camille. Then we have a television title, no DQ, no time limit match between Scion and Tyrus with the special guest referee Elijah Burke. NWA World Tag Team titles, The Ends, Odinson and Pero versus La Rebellion, Bestia 666 and Mecha Wolf 450. Then the national title is on the line between Judeus and Chris Adonis. For those of you who don't know who Chris Adonis is, he is formerly Chris Masters. NWA World Women's Tag Team titles on the line as Lady Frost and Natalia Markova go up against Kylie Ray and Tootie Lynn, and Allison Kay and Marty Bell. So, not to mention, on the card for Hard Times 2, we get an in-ring tribute to Jazz, who retired earlier this year from in-ring competition, as well as an appearance from the hardcore legend himself, Bang Bang, Mick Foley.
Pretty crazy stuff.
Going to be a star-studded lineup and a pretty stacked card for Hard Times 2 this Saturday.
Right.
Live in Atlanta, GPB Studios. Take it away with the AEW talk.
Yeah, AEW, man. Started off with something that I wasn't really expecting. No, there was no 20-minute match. It was about a 20-minute
No, it was a 20-minute segment.
20-minute segment promo battle. MJF came out before Punk's match, and they were literally throwing shots at each other.
Yeah.
Saying that, for example, some things that were said, CM Punk called MJF a less famous Miz. MJF basically called CM Punk PG Punk, saying that he's shocked that he doesn't preach hustle, loyalty, and respect. Then they were talking about how MJF was saying also that Punk's best moment was a pipe bomb promo, and that every moment that MJF comes out is the best moment.
Now, you kind of have to side with MJF.
And then he was also saying
though.
It's kind of sad that you tuckered your tail and left,
Yep, took his ball and went home 7 years ago. But you kind of have to agree with MJF, though, about the pipe bomb being CM Punk's best moment. I mean...
Yeah, that was a great
kind
moment. He was also saying that he wants the CM Punk of old, the one that is the kick-ass CM Punk. He doesn't want the CM Punk of today that kind of takes things a little bit later. Honestly, I don't know if you've noticed in CM Punk's matches, when he goes in for that running knee strike, he doesn't do the bulldog anymore. He does a clothesline. I wonder if that's because his hips are starting to wear down and he doesn't want to take the hip bump from the bulldog there, because that's all straight landing on your legs there, where it's kind of easier to do the clothesline, the lariat there. I mean, you're just using your arm more than you are using your legs from the bulldog. So I've kind of been noticing that. But this promo, it went a little longer than it probably should have, but it was one that had to happen, and I'm glad it did happen, because I'm just gonna say this now. In today's WWE, you would never have a promo battle like they had, where they're basically dissing each other and talking.
Well, WWE tried to replicate it, but and that's the thing too. CM Punk started doing like the clothesline follow up after the running knee towards like the end of his run in WWE, but regardless, yeah, it is kind of one of those things of they just, maybe he is kind of getting up. I mean, he is getting up there in age. He is up there in age. He's only like 43, just about. But then again, wrestlers in AEW are clearly proving that age is just a number. I mean, look at Sting, for example.
Exactly. But there was really no clear-cut winner of this promo battle, but it makes you get excited for when their match is going to be happening between MJF and CM Punk. I don't know exactly when it will be, but when it does happen between those two, it's going to be a banger of a match. MJF is somebody that... Oh, that was also something too. CM Punk says that the words that he has said, he can back up in the ring. MJF cannot back up the words he says. I hate to say it, CM Punk, MJF kind of has been able to back up his words in the ring. I mean, he's beaten Chris Jericho a bunch of times. He beat Darby Allin. I mean, he beat a lot of these guys. Yes, I get it that he needs to have his, he can't win matches without having his group there, which is probably true. CM Punk doesn't have anybody. He can do it all on his own. So there's definitely some truth in the fact. But if you think about it, MJF and CM Punk are going to have a banger of a match, and I'm ready to see what they're going to do when they face off against each other. Speaking of CM Punk going forward, he does beat up QT Marshall in a match that kind of was a little too long for the sense. I mean, don't get me wrong, QT Marshall is one hell of a athlete. He's, 17-year pro. He's been in the business for a long time. But I'm sorry, he looked really not that great against CM Punk. I know CM Punk is coming back from not being out of the game for 7 years. He's not really as fast and, able to wrestle like he did back in the day. Don't get me wrong, we saw a CM Punk that was able to kick ass and take names. This CM Punk now, you can still put on good matches, but you can definitely tell when he's a little out of it here and there. But CM Punk does beat up QT Marshall in Chicago. Is it safe to say? I wonder how long CM Punk's undefeated streak is going to last.
It's got to be Eddie Kingston to beat it. He would have been the perfect opponent too.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. But honestly, I really do think that MJF, it wouldn't shock me if they do give MJF the win. I mean, it's the best in the world versus I'm better than you and you know it. So honestly, I did like that. If you saw the promo battle, I did like that. Like, you might be the best in the world, but I'm better than you and you know it. That's how MJF ended it. And what better way to end it than something like that? But man, CM Punk keeps the undefeated streak going. Does beat QT Marshall. Taps him out. Actually no. Beats him with the GTS. Go to sleep. But tell you what, CM Punk, I'm definitely impressed with your undefeated streak. But going forward, Jurassic Express. Yet again, we've talked about them being on the top of the mountain before, being the number one contenders, having shots at the tag team titles. Well, let me tell you something. It's gone full circle. They are once again the top tag team in AEW. But the difference is, in the word from Christian Cage, that they have momentum on their side, and that he's going to do anything he can to help them win the tag team titles. What do you think? Do you think that Christian Cage can back up his words and make sure that third time can be the charm for Jurassic Express?
I mean, I don't know about Christian Cage backing up his words, but I can definitely say that, yeah, Jurassic Express is up there again as the number one ranked team, but, just go that extra mile. Give them that push in the right direction. Actually pull the trigger and make them the tag team champions already. Because,
I know.
You've already had, I'm kind of conflicted about that too, because, on one hand, I would love to see Jurassic Express finally get their moment and finally capture the tag team titles, but at the same time, it's Lucha Brothers need a little bit of a longer, reign as the AEW Tag Team Champions. And it's even then, losing the AAA Tag Team titles is one thing because, they've held them for over 2 years and you had to have somebody beat them for the Tag Team titles in AAA.
Right.
But the AEW Tag Team titles, that's a different story. It's they haven't even held it for that long. Now, granted, they could do that to us and be oh yeah, they didn't have the titles for long, but then it would kind of, slow down, or not really slow down, but it would kind of, put a halt to the story between FTR and the Lucha Brothers. So,
Well, I mean, of course, we'll talk about that a little bit later. Honestly, I really do think that Christian Cage can be the benefactor of the Jurassic Express this time. I really do think that he's somebody that can help Jurassic Express in a way of getting tag team gold. I mean, come on now. He was in one of the better tag teams in WWE with Edge at the time. So if there's anybody that knows about tag team wrestling, it would be Christian Cage. So
he has the most success in tag team
so
wrestling.
what better way to have a mentor in him, helping out Jurassic Express, who is a young tag team, finally get over the hump and getting those, first tag team title reign under a luxurious career. I would love to see it. Yes, it would suck to see Lucha Brothers, lose the title so soon. But if there's any, team that I think is well deserving of a title opportunity, it's the Jurassic Express. They've worked their asses off. Especially, Jungle Boy himself, Luchasaurus. I mean, they're both great guys. They're both great guys, but I think them being the tag team champions just makes the most sense. And honestly, AEW, I hope you pull the trigger and make them the tag team champions, because it's been long overdue. Yeah. I hate to say it. So this one was a little out there with the next segment there. 2.0, Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston is again in catering. Has a piece of cake.
He wants his cake. Let him
2.0 says that he's not hungry, he's full. Then he's like, I want the cake. And then they're saying that they're trying to help him better than he has with Jon Moxley. Now the question that I have is, was that taking it a little too far with those comments?
I mean, look, Eddie Kingston, Jon Moxley, yeah, he's going to rehab right now for his drinking. So, we wish Moxley all the best in that. But,
right.
Eddie Kingston has his own things to worry about. I'm sure, yeah, he does want to help Moxley in whatever way he can. But at the same time, like I said, Eddie Kingston's got his own things to deal with. He's got his own problems to take care of.
Right.
So, 2.0 is just getting under the skin of Eddie Kingston further. So, and Daniel Garcia and 2.0 are just further getting under the skin of Eddie Kingston, which you do not want to do to a guy like Eddie Kingston, because he will make you pay for it.
Right. I mean, it was taken a little too far. I get it. You're trying to create as much heat as you can, being, heels, and they definitely did. They created a lot of heat. If Eddie Kingston wasn't held back, I hate to say it, I think Daniel Garcia and 2.0 would have literally gotten their asses kicked by Eddie Kingston. That's taking a big low blow to, someone that Eddie Kingston values a lot.
Yeah.
They're great friends. So it was taken a little too far with those comments. And don't get me wrong, I like what AEW is doing. They're kind of using that in the sense of a storyline. But what I'm ready for is Moxley to find a way to come back from rehab, join up with Eddie Kingston, and take on 2.0. I mean, that would make the most sense to have happen. Of course, we don't know how long it will be until Jon Moxley is back from rehab. It might be a while.
Either way, Mox, just take as much time as you need.
Yes, please. Please get sober for your family, for the fans out there.
For your daughter.
For your daughter, please. I know mental illness is a hell of a thing. So if you definitely do need help, please make sure to, text, call somebody. There's always somebody willing to listen. We take this seriously. Everybody should take this seriously. especially John Moxley, everybody that is going through that, please take that seriously. Like I said, there's always somebody that's willing to listen. But, in a sense, also the other question I have is this storyline kind of worth it? Do you think that there's something that's going to come out of the storyline?
I hope so, man.
I mean, I'm kind of hoping so too, because I'm kind of getting sick and tired of seeing Eddie Kingston at 2.0 almost every single week.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's something that kind of has to happen. That's why I'm hoping it'll eventually lead to John Moxley making a surprise return, teaming up with Eddie Kingston to go up against 2.0 and Daniel Garcia. Honestly, what I would love to see is Chris Jericho with John Moxley and Eddie Kingston versus 2.0 and Daniel Garcia. That would be cool. But honestly, I really do think, even though I will talk about it a little bit later, I mean, who knows what could happen with that. Going forward, Gun Club beat Bear Country.
No. See, they're not the Gun Club. They're the Ass Boys.
Okay, the Ass. Well, it wasn't really the Ass Boys. It was Billy Gunn and
Okay, so
Colton.
It's Billy Ass and one half of the Ass Boys.
Yes. Mr. Ass and Ass Boy. Yes. So, it was Colton Gunn and Billy Gunn beating Bear Country. Then, Sting comes out. Then, all of a sudden, Austin just goes up to the ramp and
gets leveled.
And gets shoulder tackled to hell by Darby Allin. He got leveled. I'm shocked he was still okay after that, because damn, I would have been out for the count after something like that from Darby Allin.
Darby went at him like full force, pretty much.
Yeah, he did. I'm pretty sure Austin Gunn's not gonna be. The man has a family, damn it. But yeah, apparently you're gonna take that away from him too, right?
I don't even know. Like, he might have a concussion for all we know.
All I know is. That's kind of furthering the storyline. Now I want to know, is this finally going to be the match where we see Sting return to the ring for the first time in God knows how long? Because I hate to say it,
I think so.
That this needs to be leading into Darby and Sting versus a couple members of the Gun Club, because all you see is Sting going out there beating down guys, not getting in the ring to wrestle. Darby's been doing most of the stuff. I'm hoping this is what it's going to lead to. It's going to lead to eventually a tag team match. I don't know if it's going to be on Dynamite later on or not, but who knows? We'll definitely find out. But the match itself was alright, but the moment that made the night was definitely Darby just going after Austin Gunn like Austin Gunn wasn't even like there to begin with. Like, that was just insane, honestly.
Yeah.
But going forward, this was a little interesting that I would have never have thought this would happen. Dante Martin has a contract in front of him. Leo Rush is trying to take the pen away from him. Dante takes the pen away from Leo Rush, signs the contract, and now is a member of Team Taz and leaves Leo Rush in the dust. Our thoughts on that?
Darius cannot be too happy. And matter of fact, he was not happy because Dante Martin posted the FTW on his Twitter, and Darius Martin replied with WTF. So, yeah, Darius Martin is not happy with Dante Martin's decision to join Team Taz, and I'm sure neither is Leo Rush. Leo Rush cannot be happy that Dante Martin joined Team Taz. And even then, I
really do think that eventually this is going to lead to a storyline. Now, I have a very big question. Could Darius Martin be teaming up with Leo Rush to go up after Dante Martin and somebody from Team Taz? Now, that would be interesting to see. That I could honestly see going up. It would be the best way. What if this was just a ruse? Dante Martin just joins FTW to kind of break it over from the inside out, and eventually joins back up with his brother and Leo Rush to go after FTW. I feel like there's a big old storyline that's coming with this, and it wouldn't probably be a bad thing because now you can utilize FTW in a better sense in a way. Because I hate to say it, FTW was kind of getting a little, or Team Taz was getting a little dry.
I wasn't going to correct you. I actually like the name of FTW better for Team Taz.
Yeah, well, they had the FTW World Champion in Ricky Starks, but honestly, if there's anybody that I would love to see teaming up with Leo Rush as well, why not get Brian? I get it. I don't want to see him going after FTW anymore. Anyway, but you gotta do something with him. Same thing with Darius Martin. I don't know how long Darius is gonna be out. I would assume that he's close to coming back. Because he had, I think, a knee injury or something like that. So I don't know how long he's going to be out for, but I feel like there's definitely a spicy storyline that's coming. I'm just ready to see what's going to come of it.
Yeah, we'll definitely be tuning in week after week into AEW to see where they go with Dante Martin and Team Taz.
Right, exactly. So going forward, Thunder Rosa ends up beating Jamie Hayter to move on in the TBS Championship Tournament, as she will be going up against that bitch.
Yep.
In the semifinals. Of course, we are still waiting on Chris Statlander and Ruby Soho.
Yep.
Whoever wins that match will be going up against... I'm trying to remember. I think it's Nyla Rose. We'll be going up against Nyla Rose in the semifinals. So I'm very curious of who is going to be in the finals. My prediction might just be Thunder Rosa. Maybe Jade Cargill and Ruby Soho. They would make the most sense right there.
And at that point, I would say you gotta have Ruby Soho be the TBS
I think so. That would be nice.
Jade Cargill her first loss.
Honestly, I think Ruby Soho would be the best one to hand Jade Cargill her first loss.
Absolutely, yeah.
But I would love to also see Thunder Rosa getting close to that title, as Thunder Rosa and Jade Cargill have. Well, yes, they technically have gone up against each other in a triple threat match in Rochester, but they never went against each other one-on-one. So this will be an interesting twist. Jade Cargill is undefeated in one-on-one competition, but actually I think she's undefeated in general.
Yeah, she is.
She's undefeated. She did win the triple threat match, if I remember correctly. But Thunder Rosa is creating a lot of steam. I think that she is definitely a heavy favorite to win it all. But we'll definitely have to see in the coming weeks, coming months, as next month will be the switch from TNT to TBS. Hard to believe that is getting close to that time.
Yep.
But going forward, Bryan Danielson, he fucking kicked Colt Cabana's head in so badly that he lost a tooth because...
Yeah. I did not think that Colt Cabana got his head kicked in that much by Bryan Danielson, but Bryan Danielson sure did kick his fucking head in.
Well, Bryan Danielson is proving that he is going to beat every single member of the Dark Order until he gets Adam Hangman Page. And then speaking of Adam Hangman Page, he actually wanted to challenge Bryan Danielson for the AEW World title then and there in Chicago. And he says, I'm not leaving Chicago until I get a fight. Well, he kind of got a little physical with Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson heads out of the ring. He's ready to go up against a member of... technically two members in Dark Order that are from Atlanta. And the one that he's going to be going up against is...
Next week, tonight, is Allen 5 Angels.
Yeah, honestly, I hate to say it, he's going to definitely. I mean, there's a lot of male competitors he has to go through. So honestly, you're probably not going to see Adam Hangman Page versus Bryan Danielson anytime soon, as there are a lot of male competitors to go up against in the Dark Order. I mean, he still has Alan Angels, Ten, John Silver, Alex Reynolds, Evil Uno, Stu Grayson. Like, he has a lot of ones to still go up against. Of course, I think the females are the one exception. Then again, who the hell knows?
He could go up against Anna Jay for all
I don't think so. I think it's going to be all the male competitors are in Dark Order. So
I don't see why AEW couldn't do an intergender match, though.
So, honestly, this could eventually lead into Revolution or not. Maybe before. I don't know. All I know is it's going to literally be 5, 10, Reynolds, John Silver. At least 6 to 7 weeks before we see Bryan Danielson versus Adam Hangman Page, which
they might even do it at Winter is Coming, though.
Oh yeah, probably. I didn't even think about that. Probably Winter is Coming, but that's also December 15th, so that's kind of getting close. So that's what I'm saying. I don't think you're gonna see it anytime soon, which sucks. But at least we know that Bryan Danielson is going to make his moves. He's going to have one hell of an undefeated streak heading into Adam Hangman Page. I'm ready for that match. I think that's going to be a great match. Great title match. I don't know. Honestly, when they face off against each other, I have no idea who's going to win. I have no idea. It could be Adam. It could be Bryan Danielson. Of course, I would like to see Bryan Danielson. Oh, speaking of Bryan Danielson, I don't know if you caught it, but he actually said fickle on AEW.
Yep.
I don't know how I feel about him kind of going the same route with his character.
It's not exactly the same, but it is kind like at least he can be more Bryan Danielson for this with calling the AEW fans fickle, as opposed to, when he was in WWE and he was the Planet's champion calling the WWE fans fickle. But, so...
I hope it's not going to be a bad character change for him, even though I do like his character. I like him being a heel right now, and just makes the most sense. But moving forward, FTR, Andrade, and Malachi Black beat the Death Triangle and Cody Rhodes, further aligning the storyline between all of them. Honestly, I really do think that all of them are probably going to still continue having matches against each other.
Probably.
I'm very curious if we're going to see an actual 5-on-5. Because Arn and Tully were in the ring, looking like they were ready to tussle. And they kind of beat down on Jose, who ended up just going in the ring. And then
he had cojones.
Alex
Abrahantes
there threw Jose over the
barricade.
Threw him over the barricade. It's
Out
like, I'm done with you. I don't want to see you anymore. Just throw you over the barricade. As with that, so I'm very curious to see if we will get a 5-on-5. I know, I get it. Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard are up there in age, but
they don't have to do a lot of the work.
Yeah, they don't. But I would like to see them at least have some action in the ring against each other here and there. But don't be shocked if that's eventually going to be a route that they go. I'm just hoping that both of them would be cleared to compete, honestly. But
I don't see why they wouldn't be.
Now we go on to the Rampage side of things, as Adam Cole and Bobby Fish beat Orange Cassidy and Wheeler Yuta. I mean,
yeah.
Orange Cassidy was trying so much to put his hands in his pocket, and
Adam Cole just prevented it from happening.
Was not allowing that to happen at all. I kind of figured Adam Cole and Bobby Fish was going to win, as it was a decent match. It was something that I thought was good for what it was, but these matches for Rampage weren't exactly the best. But I guess I'll just move forward. Tony Nese, the premier athlete.
Yep.
Undefeated premier athlete, by the way, which
undefeated, but it's only ever been on like dark elevation.
Right, exactly. Well, he said he was gonna have his debut on Dynamite. Well, it's not Dynamite. It's gonna be Rampage that he's gonna get his debut, as he's going to go after Sammy Guevara for the TNT Championship. And then also Tony Nese beats up, kind of does that to Sammy Guevara. Has his foot over him, saying that the only reason you're TNT champion is because you never stepped in the line with an athlete like I. See you this he says see you this Wednesday, but now I want to know why that even got relegated to Rampage. I wonder if it's because they're really trying as much as they can to boost the viewership, because you got two title matches on Rampage, and that's already going to be, something where people are like, oh wow, we actually got some good matches on Rampage for once.
Well, my thing is maybe, granted, I know they can't really do much about that, and I'm sure that was a mutual thing, but at the same time, maybe you shouldn't have Rampage on immediately after SmackDown. That's just my.
No, probably not. I think it should be at a different time, if anything, or a different day.
I can agree with that as well.
But yeah, he's gonna get Sammy Guevara. I think it's gonna be a good match between both of them. I mean, Tony Nese is not exactly the greatest competitor in the world, but honestly, that was WWE. This is AEW, so maybe he might actually be better. Who knows? But
I've always thought he was a pretty decent wrestler, Tony Nese.
Yeah, so. he was pretty decent. I mean,
he is a former cruiserweight champion after all.
I mean, he's jacked for a cruiserweight. I won't lie, but hate to admit it to Tony Nese, he's not gonna be undefeated for very much longer, as he will get his first loss to Sammy Guevara.
I would be very shocked if they actually give him the strap.
They're not going to. But speaking of the thing that's actually going to happen next Friday on Rampage, FTR is going to get a 2 out of 3 falls match against the Lucha Brothers. Now, the question this time, it's going to be for the AEW World Tag Team titles. They said that they got a couple wins on them before, but they want to see if they can get 2 falls on them this time, because to make up for the 2 times that they've lost to them. I don't know what that actually really entails, but all I know is we finally get a match where it's 2 out of 3 falls. I just want to know how long it's going to be until you actually see the AAA Tag Team titles actually on the line, because eventually I would assume that, they would have to put them on the line against a tag team soon. But FTR, I don't think they're going to win this match, but it wouldn't shock me if they ended up holding both the AAA and the AEW World Tag Team titles at the same time. But then again, who the heck knows? If they do end up winning them, don't be shocked if Jurassic Express takes the AEW Tag Team titles right off of them and it ends up being a short run with the AEW World Tag Team titles.
Yeah,
who knows?
So that, the only way I could see that happening with FTR is so that they can actually travel to Mexico to start defending the AAA tag team titles actually in Mexico.
Right.
Because that's my whole thing, and I know it's kind of a nitpick of mine, which be as it may, but for me, my biggest gripe with Kenny Omega and his AAA Mega Championship run, which, by the way, he had to vacate it because of the fact that he is taking time off to rest some injuries, but he didn't defend it much, and even in AEW and even in Mexico, he didn't defend it much. Last notable time that I can think of that he actually defended the AAA Mega Championship was at Triple Mania against Andrade. So, yeah,
Right.
he didn't defend it much. He really, the only noteworthy time that I can think of that he actually defended the Mega Championship was against Sammy Guevara on Dynamite. But other than that, he really never defended the AAA Mega Championship.
Yeah, it's always sad, but hey, it is what it is. Going forward, Rio beats Britt Baker to get a future title shot in a moment where I don't even know if that was even actually supposed to happen.
Yeah, because, Britt Baker had, she looked genuinely pissed off at Paul Turner for making that decision, and even then, Jamie Hayter and Rebel were both looking around wait, what?
Well, I hate to say it, but her shoulders were down for the 1, 2, 3. So
she didn't get it up all the way. I think she was trying to kick out, but she didn't get her shoulders up all the way, and even then.
So if anything, that's more so on Britt Baker than it is on Rio. I mean, at the end of the day, it's Paul Turner's decision to have to count the 1, 2, 3 in that situation. Yeah. It's not like it's yeah, maybe it's not what was supposed to happen, but it is what happened. So Rio will get the future title shot, but don't be shocked if Britt Baker actually beats Rio this time. Rio, ever since losing the AEW Women's World Championship, she has not been on TV that much. She has not even really been utilized that much. I think her winning this match means that you at least see her a little bit more often, but I think that she's going to lose to Britt Baker, as Britt Baker is on one hell of a roll. But the only thing is, with now 2 women's titles, is Britt Baker actually going to be still relevant with the AEW Women's World title? I'm hoping that they use both, very well.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that they push both titles very well. But still, I think that there needs to be more women that need to be involved with both titles when they eventually become a thing. But moving forward, Eddie Kingston beats Daniel Garcia. Are we kind of shocked at this point? No, I'm not. Kind of figured what's going to happen. But what I was shocked about is Chris Jericho leaves the announce table, comes down to help out Eddie Kingston after 2.0 try to beat him down. Is this going to set up a tag team match with Eddie Kingston and Chris Jericho versus the 2.0?
I don't know. It would be a bit out of Jericho's element to team up with Eddie Kingston, knowing that he's got the inner circle. But, it would make sense for the story that's, being told, because 2.0 went after Chris Jericho first before.
No, they went to Eddie Kingston first.
Yeah, they went to Eddie Kingston first.
And then interrupted Chris Jericho's interview afterwards.
Either way, it would make sense for that Chris Jericho would team up with Eddie Kingston. But at the same time, it's he's in the inner circle.
I know he's in the inner circle, but I think it would just be like a one-off type of...
I think it would just be a one-off, and I hope it would just be a one-off because, it would be a kind of like a WWE thing of we have 2 people that aren't in a tag team. Let's just throw them together and make them a tag team. It's no, that would be really... to be fair, they kind of did that with Pillman and Griff Garrison, but at the same time, they made it work. So, and even then, they're the Varsity Blondes. I don't know. I almost said Hollywood Blondes, and it's no, that's not what they are. So, there's the Varsity Blondes, Brian Pillman Jr. and Griff Garrison. We haven't seen them on TV as of late. Maybe because Griff Garrison's dealing with an injury. I'm not entirely sure, but either way, yeah, I mean, I just hope that if that is the route that they go with Jericho teaming up with Eddie Kingston to take on 2.0, that it is just a one-off. So.
Right. Well, I think this is going to conclude this episode of No Final Bell. A little bit shorter than expected. I mean, usually we have Impact talk, but this week we did not. But we're hoping that we have some better news for you next episode. But
this Saturday, again, NWA Hard Times 2. If you have the Fight TV app, and if you're a fan of NWA, or even if you're not a fan of NWA, just give it a chance. Maybe you might recognize some people in NWA, and just start watching. Just enjoy yourself while you're watching some good old-fashioned NWA pro wrestling. And yeah, I mean, NWA has been around for 73 years, so it's definitely one of those things where you look at it and it's like, oh wow, this is, what I grew up with, or this is something that I remember, like, from my childhood or whatever. So, yeah, NWA Hard Times 2 this Saturday. Definitely check it out if you're interested, or even if you're not interested, still check it out. I feel like it'll be worth watching this weekend.
yeah, I think that's definitely worth watching, as well as, watching some Dynamite, watching some Rampage, watching Impact Wrestling.
Yes.
But like I said,
hopefully this week it'll be more stuff to talk about with Impact. Like I said, not that Wrestle House 2 wasn't like enjoyable. It was enjoyable to watch, but yeah, there just wasn't a lot to talk about with Wrestle House 2. So, and even then, So.
Right. This is going to conclude this episode. Till next time, everybody. Please follow us on social media. Watch our other videos. Like, comment, subscribe. All that fun jazz. So, definitely have a good one.